Hey team, welcome to my session on Coffee with Prab, and today we're going to discuss about information and cybersecurity fundamental. My name is Prab Nair, and for more information you can refer my LinkedIn profile. And if you're new to this YouTube channel, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss any of my video. So without wasting a time, let's move to the next part. So what is information security? Information is basically a value which is generated by the organization, or you can say information creating a value for the organization. Let's take an example. We have a Netflix. Netflix earn the revenue from the web series. They earn the revenue from movies. Okay. Now just imagine if someone hacked into the Netflix. Okay, they hacked into the Netflix and download all the web series and everything and kept offline. And then he start distributing or she start distributing those series and everything offline. It is a direct loss for the Netflix because no one is going to visit the Netflix. Okay, the hacker with a bad guy, he just start or she just start a bad practices and selling the videos in a very half cost. So it's a loss for the Netflix. So what Netflix did, they basically appoint a infosec team, and that team is responsible to protect all these data. Okay, so data is belong to an asset. So when I say information security, their primary objective is to protect the assets. An asset is two type: tangible and intangible. So when I say tangible, like which we can physically touch, and intangible is logical. So here what happened is the Netflix, whatever the movies, web series we have, these are intangible because it's a logical. But there will be some servers which hold the data. They also need to protect that. So that is called as a tangible assets. So information security is a process by which we try to protect this asset. Information security has a procedures by which they protect the asset, and that is why the company basically hire the professional for the same activity. So here they will ensure that confidential data must be protected by the responsible individual. All type of data must be protected, and most important, this reduce the risk to the business and other implication of losing a critical data. So this is what we have. So we also have another important term which is called as a cybersecurity. So it is always create a confusion. Perhaps what is the difference between the cybersecurity and information security? So you can see like that cybersecurity is a sub part of the information security. Example is we have a smartphone. This is my smartphone, Android phone. In this Android phone, I hold some data. I hold images. I hold WhatsApp chat. So those image, those WhatsApp chat is basically protected with the password. I encrypt that or I protect it with the password. So that is deal called as a cybersecurity. Okay, that is called as a cybersecurity. It means applying the password, protecting with the password, images, WhatsApp, that is a cybersecurity. But if I place this mobile in the locker and locked with the key, that is part of a information security. So information security is deal with the physical security and logical security. And under the information security, the logical security deal by the cyber security. That is why cyber security is a part of the information security. So summary is that cyber security deal with the digital data, whereas the information security deal with all kind of assets, tangible and intangible. Okay. So that is the difference. So when you're talking about the information security, it is basically achieving the three things. And that is how we build the trust: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now let me give you an example. Okay. So example, this is me, Prab. And this is Manish, my best friend. Okay. Manish one day came to me and he shared me some information. And he told me, Prab, I trust you. Do not share this information with others. So based on the trust, I hold that information with me and ensure I will not share with anyone. So what is the outcome we got? Manish basically gain more trust. Manish blindly start trusting the Prab and all that. And based on the trust, he's sharing more and more information. So I have some information security principles, and because of the principles, what I did, I protect those information and to make sure I should not share with others. Second important thing, Manish, one day what happened, he got to know that his friend got the information about him. And later on, he got to know that information shared by Prab. Okay. So in that case, there the Manish lost the faith on Prab. And from the next day onwards, Manish stopped communicating with the Prab. So same thing happened in the organization. We have a bank. So me went to the bank to open an account. Bank opened the account and they issue me a username and password. And with the help of username and password, I can log into my net banking. I can check my financial statements and all that. So there is a team in the bank, which is an InfoSec team, which ensure the confidentiality of the data, which is the customer data. And that is why to maintain the confidentiality, they issued the username and password to the customer. So he can use his own username and password, and through that he can log in and he can see the data. And we have issued the separate username and password for other customer. So that is the utmost priority we have to maintain the confidentiality. But tomorrow, if his bank statement, his account got hacked and someone get access to his account and access to all the financial data, he will be kind of a panic, or she will be kind of frustrated. And they can come to the bank and she or she start abusing. And there is a possibility bank lose that customer also. That is why the bank has an InfoSec team and ensure the confidentiality of a data must be protected. Because tomorrow if data goes disclosed, they might lose the customer. So that is the first goal of the information security as a process, to maintain the confidentiality of the data. Not a first process, one of the goal is to maintain the confidentiality of the data or confidentiality of the asset. Second is basically called as integrity. Integrity basically protect against improper information modification or destruction, including that information reputation authenticity. It's a very technical term. So if you go by the layman, it means protection of the information from unauthorized modification. Same story here. Prab told something to Manish. Okay, so Prab has told something to Manish. Based on the trust, Manish accepted the information. And based on the information, he did some planning. And later on, Manish was in a deep trouble. One example is, Manish asked me, Prab, can you tell me how's the weather in Goa? Okay, I intentionally gave him a wrong information. Manish, weather is amazing, go with a 5. Based on my advice, Manish went to Goa and he planned his vacation. But later on get to know there was a lot of rain happen and all that. So next time Manish think twice before asking anything from Prab, because Prab has given the inaccurate information. So you can imagine here how the integrity of information play an important role in building the trust. So in this case, Manish stopped asking the questions from the Prab. Same thing happened with the bank. So here we have a bank. Okay, and there is a user. So we have an InfoSec team, and that InfoSec team is basically introduce some kind of a certificates, and they also introduce some kind of a hash. So when bank issue a bank statement, along with that they give the hash value, which is a fixed value of the data. And they told them, hey guys, whenever you download the bank statement, check the hash value of the data. Okay. First scan the hash value and compare the hash value with the hash value what you receive on an email. If hash value is different, it means this is not the same data we have sent. So with the hash value, we can able to identify the accuracy of a data. Second is, you go to website, you visit the website and see the certificate. You see the URL certificate with, compare the URL with your actual URL. If URL is same, it means you are connected with the right website. If URL is different, do not proceed with the website. So as a information security, the goal here is to maintain the integrity of the information. Okay, so that is called as integrity. So we can achieve the integrity by hashing, by digital certificates and all that. The third important thing is called as a availability. So information must be available whenever it required. So same with Prab and Manish. Manish reach out to Prab, but Prab is not available. And whenever Manish need the help, Prab is not available. So that lost the faith. And later on, Manish stopped communicating with the Prab. Same thing happened we are opening a website of the bank. And every time when I'm trying to open the website, it giving me error. The website is not available, website is unavailable. So it creates some kind of frustration. And I decided I will not going to continue the business with the bank. And in that case, the bank might lose that customer. So as an information security team or information security department, we ensure the information must be available whenever it required. That's why we introduce a load balancers. We introduce the redundant systems and all that. So every company who have an information security team in the organization, they introduce a process by which they want to ensure the confidentiality of our assets, integrity of an assets, and most important, availability of the assets. Today, after the confidentiality, the second most important thing on which they work is called as the integrity, because accuracy of information is very important. Like data science, data analytics rely on the data. So data must be accurate because based on the data only they do the planning. So this is called as a CIA. Moving to the next part. We also have one more important statement which is called privacy and secrecy. So privacy is something which is deal with the individual, your PHI, personal health information, your personal financial information, your WhatsApp chat, which is deal with the individual. And secrecy is basically deal with the organization. Example, company's trade secret, company's internal formula and all that. Example, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, their internal information about how they make the items. We have a KFC chicken process making. So that is internal to the organization. That's when the organization, we use the concept called as a trade secret and all that. So privacy is deal with the individual, and we have a regulations by which they protect the privacy of an individual. And company creating a policy for their internal data, which is called as a secrecy. That's why we say secrecy deal with the organization data and privacy deal with the individual data. And we have a necessary controls for that. Let's move to the next part. Okay, so we have some more terms. Example like identification, authentication, authorization, and accounting. Identification is the process of verifying the identity. Example like you go to airport. So I'm going to the airport, example, and I told them, hey, my name is Prab and I'm traveling from Trivandrum to Delhi. So they will see my name in the list, whether I'm in a part of passenger list. So that is called as an identification. Yes, I can see your name. Do you have any proof which can claim that you are Prab? That is called as an authentication. So in this case, I'm showing my passport, which representing my name with photo ID. So I have something which can prove I'm who claim to be. That is called as an authentication. Okay, sir, we can confirm your identity. Thank you. I'm giving you the seat number 34. That is basically called as a authorization. But make sure I'm taking the right plane, right seat, and doing everything as per things that required my activity. That is called as an accounting. Same thing with the Gmail. You open the Gmail. First thing they ask for the email address. If email address valid, then only it moves to the password page, if you notice. So entering the email address and they're checking the email is valid in the database. That is called as an identification. Okay. Now second thing basically ask for the authentication. The person who claimed to be. That's why you enter the password. Because when you're talking about authentication, authentication is the process of verifying the person who claimed to be. So we have a 3 type of authentication. Something you know, which is your password. Something you have, which is like a smart card, token, and something you are, which is a biometric. So once I type the username password, I get access to my mailbox. I can access my particular mailbox. So that I have an authorization. Whatever I'm browsing, whatever I'm checking, they're tracking my activity. That is called as a accounting, and which is achieved by the logs. Okay, so these are the general terms we have. Now, next important thing is the asset. Asset is anything which create a value for the organization team. Okay, we have a tangible asset and we have a intangible assets. Okay, mobile is my tangible. Data in the mobile is intangible. Server is a tangible, physical asset. Data in the server is intangible. So we always define their values. Value is something which generate for the business. Second thing, which is called as a threat. Threat is any action that compromise the asset. Example like virus. So if you take example, virus. So virus is a threat. Okay, which exploit the server. Disgruntled employee is a threat. Okay, which hack the server. So threat is any action or event or actor who compromise the asset. But question is how? He need to discover the vulnerabilities, and that lead to the loss. So if I articulate everything, how it works, we have a user here. So user is a threat. He discovered a weakness in the server, and the weakness was password. There is a no password. So password is basically a vulnerability. Weak password is a vulnerability. Weak password is a vulnerability. And this is my employee, or you can say hacker. So he discovered the weakness in the server. Server is the asset. Okay, he discovered the weakness in the server, which is called as a vulnerability, and by which he gained access to the server and he was able to seize the data. So gaining the access to the data is a loss for the organization. So that is basically called as a risk. So asset is the one which generating a value. Threat is an action which done against the assets by exploiting a vulnerability. And if this attack becomes successful, it directly impact the business, and that is basically called as a risk. Risk is a concept that indicate the exposure to the change of damage or loss and signify the likelihood of the dangerous threat we have. That is basically called as a risk. Oh, I lost my $5,000 because hacker gained access to the system. So hacker is a threat. He exploits the vulnerability, and the loss what I face from that attack is a risk. Risk is an outcome. Okay, next is called as a virus, Trojan and worm. Virus is a self-replicating program which infecting a system. But if I say we have a system A and we have a system B, if virus is basically infected the system A, in order to move virus from system A to system B, it required human interference. How? I plug the pen drive. So virus used the memory as an opportunity, and through which he moved to the pen drive. When I remove the pen drive from the virus become deactivate. When I plug the pen drive in the system B, virus automatically replicate from the USB to the system B. So this is how the virus replicate from one system to other system with the help of human interference. So virus required human interference to replicate from one system to other system. But when we're talking about the worm, before going to discuss the Trojan, if we're talking about worm, if system A is infected with the virus and he is part of a network, if system A is infected with the worm, then, and it's part of a network, automatically worm replicate from one system to other system without human interference. So that is the thin line difference we have. So virus replicate from one system to other system with the help of human interference. Worm doesn't require any kind of a interference from the human. It automatically replicate from one system to other system. One more thing we have called a Trojan. Trojan is basically kind of a malware which is introduced to gain access to the system. Okay. It is more from a covert channel. Example, this is me, Prab, and this is Manish, my friend. So I convince Manish, hey Manish, I'm giving you one application. It is a free game. Enjoy. So based on the trust, Manish installed the game in his laptop. And then what happened? It create one logical port. And I gain access to the system through that particular port without his permission. I can remotely manage the system, remotely monitor the system. I can do anything with the system. So with the help of Trojan, it helped me to create a channel. And through the channel, I gain access to the system. Another important thing about Trojan is it is a kind of a malware that hides itself on the infected system. So I'm running an application, so I'm in this impression that game is getting installed, but behind the scene, there is a Trojan get installed in the system. And then attacker use that system, or attacker basically with the help of application can control the system. So that is what is called as a virus, Trojan and worm. Next thing is called as a hacker, black hat and white hat. See, hacker is a person who know the tips and trick and play with the system. That is called as a hacker. We don't call hacker as a bad or white, no. Hacker is the person with having a skill and he used that skill for the company objective or for his personal objective. Now it's up to you. You are using for offensive or defensive. But hacker is a person who play with the skill. Okay. And he know the computer, he know the knowledge and he uses knowledge for his own reason. So that is called as a hacker. Like I know how to cook. So I can play with that. That is called as a hacker. I know computer and know how to use a computer. So that is a hacker. So hacker is not a bad guy. Hacker is a person who know the computer and he use for his reasons. But hacker is categorized into two parts. One is basically called as a black hat and one is called as a white hat. I know the computer but I'm using for the bad activity. Like I want to hack the website and get the money from there and all that. So that is called as a black hat hacker. Offensive guy. But we also have a white hat. White hat means he know hacking, he know how to hack, but he think more from a security point of view. So one of the company gave me an order. He told me, Prab, do one thing, test my website. They don't say hack my website, they say test my website. Check my website and tell me how secure it is. Because I want to protect my website from actual hacker and all that. So in that case, they will appoint a white hat. They're going to hack, they're going to test all the security issues from an actual hacker point of view and suggest the recommendation to the clients. And according to that, they will apply the necessary controls. So you can say white hat is more like a police and black hat is like a thief. So if you find this video useful and you want more videos on a fundamental, do subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon and do share your feedback in a comment box. And let me know what other videos you want to make on the topic. Thank you.